Welcome to a late IHP show with your very own 5D mystic, ready to chit-chat a little bit about different themes as our lovely eclipse comes about. So masculine, feminine has been on the menu because we're balancing them out again. When it comes to unconditional love, the 5D collective is growing and expanding, and the ego self balance is also at hand for those who are mindfully, spiritually living. The stories, I don't know which ones I want to share, but we're going to start with You May Be Right, I May Be Crazy. So that song, amazing. The hearts that are whole, and that when we get sad and we're broken, we're not broken. We communicate consistently with, it's okay to be crazy, but nobody's really crazy. What we have is a lot of information from our attachment trauma people of how we don't have demons, evils, devils, none of that. So we don't keep blaming Lucifer for anything. We are educated. And intelligence also breeds compassion, smart, intellectually amazing, open-minded. It's just so much beauty. So the individuals who are 4D, they have broken hearts, they have shame, they have childhood trauma stuff, armored in, a lot of things that we get to discuss in the future, and we leave it alone. And that's where we're going to put them to side. I've been trying to keep putting them to the side because their energy is always full of suffering since they don't heal and take that inner child home and become their beautiful whole 1-year-old heart. They're still going to be beautiful, but they won't be living happy inside, and that's a whole other story. So unconditional love for us, we tend to our emotions. So when heartbreaks happen, like when I was a 4 years of age person, I went home crying to mom, the boys don't want to play, I'm too serious, mom. I'm still too serious, I'm 44, but I'm not too serious. I'm just with people who are intelligent and intelligence. So actively, when you are a person who's open-minded and open-hearted, we're going to talk about that. Make sure to spot those who are in your herd. The intelligent and intelligence people, they bring spirituality and sciences together. I'm watching a really great, it's an interview, and it's a person that caught my eye. The podcast host is really handsome. I like him a lot. But I don't know him, so this is the part. He looks handsome. We don't know, right? So don't judge a book by its cover, and don't make any type of assumption. So I leave it alone, but he's doing a really great interview and a nice job, and he's interviewing this man, a physicist, I think, is physics. So long story short, you want to be around those types of people who bring sciences and spirituality together if you're in intelligence, because that will allow you to hone in on the energy that we are in. So for me, I know why I keep spotting the broken-hearted ones. It's because they are the ones that get upset when the energies are about, because that's what comes up. And I had noticed this a long time ago. Well, it feels like a long time ago, but when was it? I noticed it by the time before COVID and then during COVID. I knew COVID was coming because of the way that the individuals who channel gave us information. And then I noticed that they don't know how to move beyond the 4D bandwidth. So the people who stayed in the 4D bandwidth, that's where they were being given an opportunity to ascend. They didn't. They stuck to the information. So here's the thing about the broken heart. As I said, it's a shame cycle. So you have a false sense of self, which means you didn't claim your child part. So you did not go to therapy. You chose not to allow yourself to ground in. And there's a journey to therapy. That's why you don't heal it with spirituality or mindfulness. Not that you heal it by taking yourself to a therapist and getting a good one and doing somatics and or sensory motor, child parts work, and EMDR, because that will allow you to start doing integration of the brain. You'll know where there are aspects with the EMDR that are having, I forget how they termed it, but that'll help the bilateral. And to get you out of the wheel, your best foot forward is necessary for you to get out of the hellhole that is shame, and that is basically trauma charges, and it's stored. So it's a journey that is of the ones who want to. You're going to go through pain and grief, and you get tired when you leave, but you feel better. And it's not something that you say, okay, I did 3 months, I'm done. The good therapists will share with you what to expect. The ones who are afraid that you're going to leave, they try to figure out a way to have you stay. But I am a person who believes in sharing it all. That's why I'm still a serious person. To me, I'm going to let you know what to expect because, one, I'm an online marketer and entrepreneur, and it is shown in general, professionally speaking, even me as a consumer, you not telling me how it's going to go, or I don't like it, you didn't offer me quality, you just offered me something to get me in the door, which means that you're not even interested in the completeness of what your role is, what you are, what you're giving me. Okay, so quality is more important than quantity for a person who embodies what they do with heart. It means they care. Doesn't mean it's perfect. No, we're not perfect. It means I care about what I'm providing you so that I may ensure that it is going to be embodying exactly what it is. So, anyways, long story short, I was saying that therapy is important, and once a person's out, then they say, okay, I'll do mindfulness, and then I want deep personal development. I want life now. So that's their second choice point. But until the day that you don't have eyes on you, and eyes on you means all of it, and you don't have a good therapist who gives you a plan, there are good ones. Dr. Daniel Fox is an expert in personality disorders. He was very clear in one of his videos on BPD. There's BPD as personality disorder and as traits. But he says you don't want to auto-diagnose you. You want a good therapist that can sit with you. And then once you review all of this stuff, they can have a plan. And then you, with a plan, your circumstances, everybody around you, everything matters. If you don't have the right support, you are already going to have challenges when you fall back on whether it's drugs and fucking people and this maladaptive, it's unfortunate, and even drinking. You need to be the one to say, I want quits, I want out, but also the people around you who can support you, and you with a good therapist to know what to expect. So I believe in sharing with somebody, this is what you can expect. You're going to get out of hell. It's going to be a burning ladder. You want good support. If you don't have it, let's figure out how to have you have it, which is why Patrick Tiahan, he's really great. He has a community, so when people do have a community, that's why those are a power force, because they can understand what it is, and then they can heal effectively together. And if they're ever ready after empowerment and justice to forgive all of that trauma stuff, whether it's generational, cultural, whatever it is, they're going to meet, that inner frequency of forgiveness. And they don't want to yet, that's that teenager, the teenager attitude. And even if they think it's not, it's a teenager attitude, the fight response. So forgiveness is something that you will offer when you are I'm not fighting you because of your unfortunate trauma business and humanities. There's nothing to fight. Not bringing my sympathetic into the room. I don't need it. You're not a threat to me. The trauma is not a threat to me. We're dissolving it. To dissolve means that I, with my equanimous stance and with a pure consciousness body, am able to witness the emotion, to welcome it, to process. This is why a feminine will always nurture. And this is why they will be correct in how to process emotions, while the masculine is incorrect, because shaming is not processing. It's actually shoving it down again and making this posture, which is only here because our ancestors would kick each other out of the herd because they wouldn't, who knows? I mean, for all we know, they didn't kick each other out of the herd. It was more of, if you break a leg and we have to run, we're sorry, we're going to have to leave you behind. So many different stories. This is where people could get all cut up into so many stories. But when they want to bring it to the good and evil, that's the black and white thinking. It's a person who's limited in the way they see things. They're simply confirming their own idea that there has to be two, versus the truth, which is there's not just two, period. There's not just two equations in a scenario. Now, I and you, that I can have two options, where we have yes, no, and maybe. So the reality is there's not only two. But anyone who doesn't enjoy contemplation because it gets hard, they're going to want to. So that's why that non-bilateral, tick-tock, So when you get rigid with thoughts and emotions, it's an indication of a uncomfortableness with uncertainty, which is part of our mammalian heritage, secondary consciousness. But the feminine of the 5D mystic plane and the masculine, we're not rigid. So being around intelligence and people who are open is very good. People are loving, very fun. People who are smart, also fun. So when you're around those who know what they're talking about, and then they enjoy to be around, every day is a blissful and delightful day. And we are sad for those who don't want to navigate the plane of infinite possibilities with us, but it's a choice. It's a choice to navigate this plane. And the mantles of those who are in 4D. So I didn't realize that the mantles are because they're a false sense of self, so they like to talk about themselves as superheroes and supervillains. So we got teenagers, spiritual bypassers, and mantles of mental health. The ones who are healing, you'll know who they are. They are going to be authentic. They're not going to project. They're going to present to you what's going on, what's not going on. The individuals who are not healing, they just use words and they get all in their little pissy pants. And our eclipse is bringing some amazing energies. So I think I will let you go for this one, and I might have a story too. We'll find out. Meantime, thank you for stopping by. Like, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful evening.